Welcome back. Let's quickly go over some other numbers. Voltas came out with a very strong set once again, just to fill you in. I mean, they were beating on almost all parameters. Top line, profit, margin growth coming through 7.5% almost on the margin front. The stock, however, has reacted negatively, but it'll be perhaps prudent to look at a 1 or 2 year price performance. The stock is in some other orbit altogether. Prakash, so what do you think it is? I mean, is it just some smart money taking profits off after the news? Or any other concerns that you might have had with the numbers?
No, I don't think there's much to worry from the numbers, Surbhi. But what happens is when you have such elevated parameters on your earnings, the profile, the base effect doesn't work in your favor. I mean, for Voltas to continue justifying this kind of 42 plus P multiples, it is difficult. And remember, this is a cyclical business. It's not something which you can kind of have visibility, which is very, very clear. If the cycle sustains, only then these stretch valuations would get justified. So there's a lot of anticipation with the summer coming up, UCP business contributing. Right now it's been the engineering business that's also worked. But rich valuations will always see this, and that's exactly what we are seeing in this earnings season. There's no complaint with earnings, but there's a price issue. And every time the price is run up ahead of, and I think Voltas has done what, 35% from the last time the earnings came through. So, it's significant in terms of a move very soon. So I would believe it will have to rest a bit and then continue to give that conviction. Same case as so many others, whether this is a more sustainable kind of a growth.
Okay, I think NALCO's numbers are out. Net profit is 240 crores. So just pull out that stock. I think we should flash it soon. But net profit of 240 crores is what we have. That's the first number. I think revenue is 2380 crores. So that's on NALCO. The number actually is looking quite decent. Now remember, NALCO is a stock which has started to gain traction of late. There's been quite a bit of buying in NALCO in line with the other metal names. Any thoughts on the stock, Prakash?
So, I somehow feel the time to buy these stocks, particularly the ones that have twin vectors working against and for them. One is the government ownership and the second is metals as a cycle again. It pays to buy them much before, you start seeing the cycle come midway. Right now, if you ask me, the cycle, particularly in aluminium, could be towards the peaking out stage. So from here on, whether you would get the same kind of returns which you got, let's say, in the last 6-12 months, doubtful. So I have better choices to make. So really not very positive on the stock at this level.
Okay. By the way, HAL's numbers, it's good to see that despite, usually the stock moves whenever there's talk about any defense procurement changes in policy, Atmanirbhar and all of that. And then you get to the earnings and it kind of doesn't add up because it's a lumpy business. But right now, we've seen a good performance on the top line. There's growth, even at the profitability level, margins are looking all right. So let me quickly ask you, Prakash, I don't know, HAL, anything else, Bharat Dynamics, anything where in this earnings season you've seen the numbers start to add up to all the expectations and the euphoria, defense stocks?
So I think the defense, while you have a lot of new entrants making their mark of sorts because they're getting traction, there's a track record that's building up for the likes of HL and BDL. I think you would still be better off focusing on the time-tested ones like BEL. And look at how it's made a comeback, from its 80s to 130. And even pre-budget, when you had a little bit of a sell-off, I was quite surprised. This was one stock that was holding its own. And now that, you have all those issues related to margin capping and, the government's policy changes that were likely to impact it negatively have been addressed. Those issues have actually now they're part of something that was already a misconception that they've clarified. I think the stock would probably get into a very new orbit, and that's where the payoff will happen. And the other pocket, I'm not specifically probably naming a stock in that, but it's going to be the shipbuilding area. So there's some amazing developments there because the government also has realized that this is a business that they could very clearly make some headway. and the geopolitical factors are probably contributing to that traction also. So shipbuilding as a pocket, you have a choice there, 2-3 names, good names out there, but BEL stands out to be very specific on your questions, Surbi.
Okay, and before we let you go, Prakash, have to ask you on ITC, because the stock had corrected a bit heading into the numbers. Of course, there was always this kite flying about some kind of demerger or whatever. That was never going to happen. But thoughts on the stock now? Would you buy this dip?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. See, I know this whole move that you saw on the back of this so-called demerger, announcement that was being flown around. The stock actually has to grow if the earnings start, getting in place. And this time around, the disappointment is one, because that event didn't happen. So a lot of people who were just banking on that binary event had to move out. The second is the FMCG, the non-tobacco FMCG business is a little bit shaky even now. I think the way they have successfully turned around some of the sub-brands like Savlon and Ipi and Ashirwad, if they were to do that to other parts of the businesses, I think there's a re-rating that's definitely more secular and more longer lasting that could happen. And remember the hotels business, they've by the way subscribed to the rights issue on East India Hotels as well to the fullest that they could. And there's a very clear indication that that's one pocket that will probably help its get the earnings profile back in place. So I'm very positive on it, but you'll have to have a bit of patience and don't get carried away by the noise around this stock, which is too much, especially on social media.
Okay, Prakash, we will then leave it there today. Thanks a lot for joining us. Have a good weekend. And we'll of course see you next week. Well, for now, just pull out Motherson Sumi once again, and that's on circuit now. 10% temporary freeze is what you have on Motherson Sumi at this point in time. It reminds me of the earnings reaction that the market gave to SBI, because even despite strong positioning, the stock sort of never cooled off, and that's what's happening with Motherson Sumi as well. About 10% higher on that stock now. In fact, a lot of stocks now rallying quite a bit. There's, of course, Adani Enterprises, which is now up 8.5%. Concor, by the way, is up 8%. Piramal Enterprises is up about 7%. There's some move happening in some of the other names like Indiabulls Housing, which is up about 2%. On the way down, of course, there's ITC, which is down 5%. There's Ashok Leyland, which is down 5%. And there's SAIL as well, which is down almost about 4% or thereabout. Talking about Ashok Leyland, that stock's been of course sulking a bit in trade after the margins missed estimates on higher raw material costs. Also, there was an exceptional loss of 46 crore rupees, though debt is down sequentially. Let's head out what Gopal Mahadevan, CFO and whole-time director of Ashok Leyland, had to say.
Will certainly match, if not exceed, industry volumes. That is our aspiration. Steel price increases have gone up, and they have been consistently going up over the last few months. We have taken a price increase we'll have to wait and watch. Hopefully things will start to ease out, because the government is also looking at various options to actually reduce the steel price pressure that is coming in. If that happens, then that will be favorable, but we'll have to wait and watch. As far as the other issue that the industry, it is not our industry, let me clarify. It's a global phenomenon. It's impacting the entire automobile industry, both cars and trucks, etc., is the semiconductor issue. So if the semiconductor supply is still constrained, then that can impact our growth. If the steel price increases continue, we will be forced. We will have to take price increases, because we cannot continue to sell at depleting margins. I don't think the impact was felt significantly in Q3. The impact will be felt in Q4. If we are able to grow our volumes in Q4 again, and then we see a possibility of debt reduction. Let's wait for Q4 to happen. But I think our debt position is not very significant. All I can tell you at this moment is our gross debt is somewhere around 2,800 crores or so. Very insignificant debt for a size of Ashok Leyland.
All right, so that's Ashok Leyland. Today, at least, the stock hasn't seen much recovery. Some of those concerns, perhaps, on higher metal prices, the concerns there are playing out. Let's move on now. Rupen Rajguru, Head of Equity Investment and Strategy at Julius Baer, is with us on this leg of the show. Thank you so much, Mr. Rajguru, for joining in. First things first, it's been a dream run for the bulls on Dalal Street right into March. What have you made of all the factors that have led us to this 15,000 plus level on the Nifty? And do you see more legs to the rally?
Good afternoon, Surbhi, and good afternoon to all your viewers. Uh, so here, if we zoom out and look through the lens that is it India which is only rallying? The answer is no. The entire global markets are rallying. So we are not kind of an outlier. And when you asked about whether do we have legs to the rally, the answer is clearly yes, because this time around the rally is led by earnings, and uh, probably the flywheel of the earnings in India is kind of up in motion, and probably after I would say people see a good earning cycle. So when was the last time we saw all the sectors performing? Financials performing well. Earnings wise, or be it manufacturing companies, be it pharma companies, be it IT companies. So this is led by earnings. So definitely there are legs to this earnings growth. Having said that, we have to be cautious about the valuation, and in the market always there can be corrections, and we have to be prepared for that.
Fair enough. Rupen, hi, good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. The market's focus since budget has been on the domestic economy stocks, right? Capex-oriented stocks, cyclicals. Would that be the best way to play this market now?
Anuj, here, if I were to just look through how the various segments of the markets have behaved or performed over last 4 to 5 years. So the economic recovery play, which is what you're referring to, those stocks have been a big relative underperformer over last 4 or 5 years. And probably every year the expectation was that there will be earnings recovery coming through, and it was not happening. And now probably I definitely believe that we are in that earning cycle. So the economic recovery play starting from the financials, because when we get into an economic cycle, financials are the best leverage play. So financials will do well, coupled with stocks from the industrials, manufacturing, cement, real estate, all those will do well. So to answer your question, yes, those are the sectors which we like, and those have been relative underperformers, and that will kind of lead the current rally.
Okay, so if I could drill a little deeper in that, you mentioned, industrial, cement, etc. So typically, how does one go about it? Which part of the cycle is going to turn first? Are you better off in cement, say? A lot of people say industrial capex is still some time away. The CV cycle turn is still some time away. So how do you pick and choose between this large, cross section of stocks then?
Yeah, so the early cyclicals, as some of the industrials definitely are the leaders. And to answer your question on the capex cycle, while the budget was focused on, revigorating the entire capex cycle with almost 26% jump on a YOY basis as far as the capex is concerned. But in the private sector side, also, if you see, Surbhi, there are already signs of capex. Like a lot of cement companies have announced their capex. Then we have seen also some of the companies on the auto side also kind of talking about capex. So to play the capex cycle, the early industrials would be a better way to play. But one other sector where we are seeing really good traction is real estate. So again, real estate as a sector has linkages with 10 other sectors. So those are the companies which do tend to get benefit out of it. So cement is one of them. Some of the capital goods are also something which we like, and that would be early cyclicals would be a good play to it. Infrastructure as a sector, probably yes, I think we will see, because budget has given good impetus on the road sector and also on the railways. So some of the companies related to that also we will see, and we are already seeing the order books out there, which is pretty strong. So that is another segment which one can look into playing.
Okay, what about autos and auto ancillaries? We've seen a big rally play out in names like Mahindra, Ashok Leyland, Tata Motors, Motherson Sumi.
Yes.
Rupen, autos and auto ancillaries, any thoughts here?
Okay. So autos, Anuj, there the OEMs clearly, earlier had a pent-up demand and which came into play. And Now, I would say we have to be a little bit cautious on the valuations on some of these automobile companies. And also the input costs for some of the OEMs have gone up because in last 3 to 4 months, we have seen the input cost have gone up. So while structurally we like the sector, but I would say I'll be wary of valuation in some of these companies. And some of the companies, like Mr. Sehgal was here some time back, companies focusing on deleveraging, focusing on capital efficiency will get good valuation by the market. I think one of the auto company or ancillary company also announced a buyback, smaller auto ancillary companies. So some of those companies focusing on those aspects will be in foray. But I would say we would look for a better entry points because the sector has seen a decent run up, and we have to see whether the demand is here to stay. So next few quarters will be a real acid test for them to see how they perform.
Okay, all right, Reuben, we will wind it up on that note for today. Thanks for joining in and sharing your views on the market and, of course, the sectors and how you're breaking things up. The market, at least for the time being, is fairly somber. It is just the bank Nifty in such polarization. I wouldn't have known it. I mean, if Anuj hadn't pointed this out in the morning, I wouldn't have thought that there'll be such a huge divergence today. It's like two different markets, the Nifty and the Bank Nifty.
Yes, and it was the case yesterday as well, Surabhi, right? But yesterday it was on the other side. Yesterday it was the Nifty which was up 60.
Thanks to Reliance.
Yesterday Nifty closed at the highest point, the Bank Nifty closed at the lowest point.
Yeah.
Today perhaps we're going to see a reverse of that. I think that's going to be a bit of a trick in this market henceforth. We had the big sort of top-down move post the budget. And now I think this consolidation, this is a positive consolidation in which there's a lot of sector rotation. The market perhaps will go up, but it's not that everything will go up. So you'll have to be working a bit more in this market to find your winners.
Okay, well, on that note, let's take a very quick break. We'll come back on the side, tell you what the buzz has been in dealing rooms today, and of course get you the last half-hour trading calls for today and for the week.
Congratulations, Rahul.
Thank you.
आज से ये चेयर तुम्हारी.
It's an honor, sir. But sir, इतनी बड़ी जिम्मेदारी, पता नहीं स्टाफ मुझे पसंद करेगा कि नहीं.
तुम उनका ख्याल रखोगे ना राहुल, तो वो तुम्हारा और कंपनी का ख्याल रखेंगे. Here's a good way to show you care. LIC's pension and group scheme. Pension, gratuity और retirement benefits आसानी से मैनेज करता है.
मतलब एम्प्लॉइज खुश तो कंपनी भी खुश.
पापा आजकल आप पढ़ाई को लेके कुछ पूछते ही नहीं.
क्योंकि अब तुम बदल गई हो. बायजूस के साथ खुद से पढ़ने लगी हो, दोस्तों को कॉन्सेप्ट समझाने लगी हो. अब तेरा पापा नहीं, पार्टनर बन गया.
कॉन्सेंट्रेट पार्टनर.
अब आजा बेटा.
समझ के पढ़ते हैं तो इनका दिल लग जाता है और पेरेंट से पार्टनर तक का फासला तय हो जाता है. बायजूस, डाउनलोड नाउ.
अरे वाह भाई, भैया तो एकदम फिट है.
हेलो, सस्ता ब्रोकरेज डन करो.
एक मिनट, बीपी की गोली.
रिसर्च टीम नहीं है? अरे गूगल है ना.
हार्ट अटैक.
यहाँ पर ऑफिस भी नहीं है. टोल फ्री तो होगा.
सर कोई तो इलाज बताइए.
मेरे पास तो नहीं है. अब इनका इलाज तो केवल स्वस्तिका इन्वेस्टमार्ट ही कर सकता है.
सस्ते के चक्कर में पड़ जाओगे बीमार. चुनो सिर्फ स्वस्तिका इन्वेस्टमार्ट को. टॉप रिसर्च टीम, पैन इंडिया प्रेजेंस और 28 सालों का अटूट विश्वास. स्वस्तिका इन्वेस्टमार्ट, सस्ते पर मत जाओ, किफायती और भरोसेमंद सर्विस.
आज से ये नया वाला फॉर्च्यून चक्की फ्रेश आटा.
फॉर्च्यून चक्की फ्रेश आटा रोटियां बनाए एकदम सॉफ्ट और स्वादिष्ट.
जी करता है उसके हाथ चूम लूं.
किसके?
आटा जिसने बदला उसके.
जब रोटियां सॉफ्ट तो दिल भी सॉफ्ट. सॉफ्ट रोटी का वादा. फॉर्च्यून चक्की फ्रेश आटा.
Welcome back. Well, BTST calls time. Mitesh Thakkar is joining us for that once again. Mitesh, good afternoon again. So the markets, well, all over the place, but this intraday moves that you've seen both in Nifty and Bank Nifty, anything that you can extrapolate, and what would be the BTST calls now?
Yeah. So two things. One, I think we've been talking about is consolidation, and I think that continues. So today's movement confirms it that 12,250 on the upside would be a significant hurdle. We got a high of 12,244 today. And I think 15 to 50 on the upside will be a significant hurdle, and 15,000 remains the support area. So I think give and take 20-30 points, that range I think will still continue for next few days, and that's how I see the market. Similarly on the Bank Nifty, I'm waiting for 36,430 to be crossed. I think only above that we'll get a fresh long trade. For the time being, the calls that I have, a BTST on ICICI Bank with a stop at 640, targets of 656 here, and STBT on Aurobindo Pharma with a stop at 935 half for targets of 910.
Yeah, Mitesh, it can be very confusing, right? The market's seen 11, 12, 13, 14, 15,000 back to back. You know, sometimes it's tough to remember, you know, whether it's 15,000 something or 14,000 something. It's been that kind of a market, of course. But time for D-Street chatter then. A lot of you, of course, look forward to what Nimesh has scooped. Nimesh will come to stocks as well, but first tell us about the market.
Hi, Rajana. Today it's all over the place, and there is this high amount of volatility. And I guess what's happening is there is increased amount of non-institutional activity of the last few days, and that's adding to a bit of volatility. In terms of institutional play, FIs are still positive, but the volumes are slightly on the lower side for the last couple of days. We have got a couple of Asian markets shut for the last few days, so that's also playing out in terms of volumes. But as I said, non-institutional activity is quite on the higher side. In terms of rotation, I think the sector which is back in focus is banks. After a few days of consolidation, you're seeing fresh buying into the bank names. And remember, a lot of the larger banks did conference calls with influential brokerages, so even that's helping in terms of buy flows into the bank names. But largely a bit of volatile, but from a flow point of view, it's still positive at the FI desk.
Okay, well, there's always something buzzing on Nimesh's list. I still remember, some of the inputs you gave us, some of the deals came through like that NBFC. What's on your list today, Nimesh?
Hi, so the first stock on my radar is Adani Ports. The entire Adani pack is buzzing today. Adani Enterprises is up 10%, Adani Port is up 4%. Ever since the numbers and the fact that the promoters have reduced the pledge shares, there is a bit of demand for this particular share. And I believe now one of the leading global FII is looking to buy shares worth $200 million in Adani Ports, and hence you're seeing a bit of spike in that particular stock. So that's the first stock. The second stock is ITC. Even a couple of days back, I did highlight that there is selling pressure in ITC from the FII desk, and that continues in today's trading session as well. But do remember, the next big trigger, looking at the brokerage reports, the next big trigger is a restructuring in ITC, and that could be a near-term trigger to watch out for. So watch out for that. But in terms of near-term, there is selling pressure at the FI desk in ITC. The last stock is MCX. That stock is buzzing in trade today. Entire exchange will do some re-rating once the NSE IPO comes in. But today, I think the stock is buzzing on the back of ISEC report. They have upgraded the stock to a buy from neutral. They were target price of 1740 some odd. And there is a bit of momentum in terms of trading volumes as well in MCX. So that's buzzing in trade today.
Okay, all right, Nimesh, thanks very much for that. That's a strong profit beat from Apollo Hospitals coming through. Let's see the other numbers. Okay, revenue seems a little shy of estimates, which is why the stocks turned color. So let's just wait by and see how the company is done on other parameters. Right now, it's mixed. Top and bottom line, one in line, one, of course, missing estimates. We'll just see how the EBITDA and the margin picture is. In the meantime, let me welcome in Deepan Mehta of Elixir Equities on the show as well. Deepan, good afternoon and happy Friday to you. While we wait by to get, EBITDA is just in line. While we wait by for more details on Apollo Hospitals, the stock I want to actually ask you about is ITC, as Nimesh was just saying. Is this just that the market is fixated on this demerger and FMCG goes separate, cigarettes goes separate? Or is the market a little ahead of itself in that expectation? What do you make of the price drop?
Good afternoon, Surabhi. Thanks for having me. I was not particularly impressed with ITC's numbers and still remains a largely tobacco company and facing various challenges in terms of threat from imports, and down trading is what we have seen in this quarter, because of which the operating profit margins also shrunk. And although we have seen good growth rates come through in the FMCG business, the kind of EBITDA margin which that business has is amongst the lowest in the industry. So even if they do a split, it would be a minor unlocking of the value. The larger value rests with the tobacco business. So although it's a very cheap stock, good dividend yield, we know all these things, but I think the market's looking for growth in earnings, and I don't think that's going to come through in ITC. So it'll just keep on getting cheaper and cheaper in terms of price to earnings multiples. We have seen that P multiples have shrunk for ITC over the past decade or so, and that trend will continue. So you could have sharp trading rallies in ITC from time to time, but it's no longer a nice secular portfolio stock which wants to remain invested for a long period of time.
Okay, by the way, Concor is now up 10%. That's perhaps, I think that's a temporary freeze, if I'm not wrong. Just see the chart intraday. Deepan, good afternoon. Thoughts on Concor?
Good afternoon, Anuj. I think Concor is all about the land, the lease rent which the railways are going to charge, and if maybe there is some positive outcome over there, that may be the result why the stock has spiked the way it has. If the present proposal of the railways is accepted, then most of the profits will get wiped out, or they would have to significantly increase their average freight rates or whatever they charge for their services. And of course, it's a great play on privatization as well. Considering that the government is serious about privatizing this time round. So you could have a big interest or trigger coming if they actually go ahead with this proposal. But then the government will look at privatization only once they have a handle on this rent which is charged by the railways. So I think it's dependent on these two events. And if they play out well, then I think Container Corporation can easily move up significantly higher from these levels. It's got a fabulous monopolistic type of position in the freight business. And now with the economy opening up, domestic as well as global, you are going to see a decent spike in volume. So yes, I think positive on Container Corp, and two trigger points, privatization and railway rent. If those two have some amount of certainty or closure to it, then I think the stock could trade even higher.
Okay, got that. Deepan, stay on. We'll take a break, come back. More questions coming your way. And then, of course, we'll get you some more earnings analysis as well.